Here we have a Dell Alienware that came in for a damaged LVDS connector. The customer did some work on the laptop, and let's take a look. The customer managed to rip off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pads, and we see crazy glue on the sides. I started working on this laptop just a few minutes ago. I removed the LVDS connector and I thought, why not record the video? Look at the connector, the old one. I used low melt solder to get rid of the connector, and the connector is out, but the connector was damaged. We see missing pins where we have missing pads. Now we do not have that connector in stock. We do not have it. But we do have a donor board. We have donor boards for everything. It looks like it. It seems like it. That's the customer's board with the missing connector and missing pads. And we have an exact match donor board right here with a very good connector. But the problem is, how are we going to remove this connector from this board without damaging the connector? That's a very good question, because on back of the board, we have that plastic piece, so we cannot heat up from the bottom. We're gonna end up burning that component. We do not really care about this board, but it's gonna be a big mess to burn out this component. Or we can desolder this component, remove it, and then heat up from the bottom, so we can remove this connector safely. I do not want to damage this connector, because if it did get damaged, then we have to locate a connector for this board. And I do not know if we can locate one here from the US or if we have to order it from China. Let's apply flux onto the connector, and let's see if we can heat up from the bottom without having to remove that bottom connector. I want to see if it's possible, because the LVDS connector is a little bit pushed in, so we may be able to heat up on the bottom. Let me just add a little bit of flux. Flux helps with the flow of solder. And this thing is tough, and the reason is the board is very thick, so the board has to absorb all the heat before it reaches melting temperature of solder. All right, done. We successfully desoldered the LVDS connector, and now it's time to fix the missing pads on the board before we can solder that connector back on. We have 6 missing pads, and those are very tiny pads with very tiny lines. And let's use our grinding pen. We have to be gentle, very gentle, because those lines are microscopic. They look big under the microscope, but they are microscopic. And now we're going to be using pad strips. Whatever we are using for this repair, you can find and purchase off our site. Everything is in stock and ships out usually same day. We are a distributor for Amtech Flux. We carry the grinding pan, replacement bits, tweezers, pad strips, whatever is needed for the repair, you can find there. Okay, so one of the strips decided to exit to the 9th dimension, but that's okay. We'll find it, or we'll just have to grab another one. Let's work with those two first. Okay, so that's one of them. What I'm going to do is extend the pad strip all the way down so we can apply solder mask and hold it in place. We'll apply solder mask from the top and the bottom so that pad strip does not move. This one is not long enough, so we're not going to be able to use it. All right, and now we're gonna apply UV mask on the top and bottom. And now we're gonna use our 10-watt UV lamp. Just put it on top and wait about 20 seconds. The lamp is gonna shut off by itself. And that's the way I have it now. The lamp is on right now. But the light is hidden because of the cup that goes over the light. We're gonna wait about 20 seconds and we'll check. Okay, the light is off. And let's check what's going on under the microscope. We're gonna have to apply a little bit of heat so we can make the UV mask better than factory. And now if we check on those pad strips, very nice. The strip is held from the top and bottom, and it's not going anywhere. And the next thing I want to do before we solder the connector is I'm gonna tin those pad strips. What's nice about those pad strips is they tin easy. I can apply solder onto them very easily. And the reason I want to tin them is I want to make sure the connector, the pins on the connector, sticks to those pad strips. I'm not gonna tin the rest, only those. We just tinned the pad strips. And now we're gonna solder the connector. Let's put the connector on. We're not gonna be able to secure the connector from the left and right because the support pad is totally gone from here and from here, but that's okay. We're gonna solder the connector using this, and rest of the pins. Now I just want to press down on that connector and solder a few pins so we can hold that connector in place, and then we can go over all the pins. We're gonna apply some flux. Very nice. Very nice. And we're gonna do the same thing from here. Press and hold. Very nice. Now we can use flux on the pins, just like that. And we're gonna go over them. We may need more solder. Okay, so we're gonna go over the pins one by one to make sure every single one is solid. Let's clean up and then we can test if all the pins are solid. Now it would be nice if all the pins are solid, but if not, then we're gonna go over any one of the pins that may not be solid. Solid, 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 solid. I'm not gonna keep saying solid for every pin, but if I came across a pin like this one that's not making a good connection, then I'm gonna stop. We're gonna apply flux to help with the flow of solder. Then I'm gonna apply solder onto the tip, just like that. And we can touch over that pin. Just like that. Now we can continue with saying solid, 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 solid. All the pins are solid so far except for this one, but this, the pin looks like it's moving along with the pad, and that's good. The pad is connecting from the back. So as long as the pin is making a connection with the pad, that's good. Solid, solid. We want to make sure the pin is making a connection with the pad strip and it's not moving freely. Very good, very good, very good. Awesome, excellent, amazing, beautiful, cute, handsome. Pretty, and all the pins are making a solid connection. That's amazing. That's awesome. That's awesome. We only had one loose pin that was not making a connection, and we quickly took care of it. Solid, weak pad, no problem. And I'm double checking, so I do not give this to Big Boss and he has to assemble it and then tell me it's not working. You have to disassemble it, give it back to me, and then we're gonna be wasting a lot of time. So I just go over it twice and 3 times to make sure everything is solid. That way I'm 100% sure that we are solid on all the pins. We did an amazing job. We were able to successfully remove that connector from the donor board without creating any damage onto that connector, without inflicting any damage onto that connector. We restored the missing traces and we successfully soldered that connector back on the board. Now the supporting pads on the right and left are not soldered, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's nice to have them, but they're not needed. We're gonna have to be careful when we insert the screen connector, but once the connector is in, then we're all good. That's the connector that we soldered right on the bottom here. I'm gonna give the board to Big Boss to reassemble and test, and I'll be back to finish the video. Let's check on Big Boss. He said he's almost done. We know that it powers on, but we want to see something on the screen. Yes, yes. Awesome. We did an amazing job, and the laptop is working. The screen is working. That's amazing. Thank you, Big Boss. Welcome. Thank you for the disassembly and reassembly of the laptop. Nobody can do it better. And let's check what's going on here. Oh, the shipping machine jammed. What's wrong? I think remove this bottle. Usually it does not jam, but every once in a while. Yeah, I see paper inside. Here, give me the tweezer. That's about it. Okay, try it now. Okay, very good. Fixed. We need to invoice all those customers. We did all those yesterday and today. And this one is what? This one is a fix. We have an LG monitor that we need to work on. We have an iMac that we need to work on. Big Boss already did. Actually, I worked on this iPad. I did the charging Flux cable. He reassembled it, changed the screen. And we have a custom build that was mailed here few days ago. I still did not look at it or what's wrong with it. We are also working on this one on the bottom. And what's inside the package. Something is inside here. Oh, the adapter maybe. Asus laptop. Great. What's new? Asus laptop. Every single day. At least a couple of them. Every single day. Is there a ticket inside the box? Let's read what the customer wrote. Spoke with you over email. Gaming laptop, one charge or power on. Big Boss is gonna take it apart and I'll work on it. Maybe I'll include it in a video or maybe not. That's it.